Welcome to Sitcom Showdown, a podcast that reviews classic sitcom episodes and inducts them into our very own Hall of Fame. As usual, one of us has chosen a sitcom episode and the other guy has no idea what it's going to be. Will they already know it? Will they love it? Can they be convinced that it's worthy? Let's find out on Sitcom Showdown. Hello and welcome back to Sitcom Showdown for episode 37. It's Jeffers here, and Steve, you're just standing there.
Yep, I'm here on my lunch break.
Yeah.
That's how dedicated we are, Jeff.
Oh, middle of the week, middle of the day, it's just not natural. Oh well.
No, it's thrown all your natural podcasting rhythms out.
Yeah, but any time is a good time to watch a sitcom, though.
Yes.
So that's all right.
It is.
Mm.
And you're very excited about the new Goodies box set, aren't you?
Oh, I am very excited about the new Goodies box set. For people who don't know, the Goodies is a sitcom. It's a British one from the 1970s and early 1980s. And finally, after years of waiting, they've released a full box set. And I think I said to you, Steve, just in time while the DVD as a format is dying.
Yes.
And
Perfectly timed.
I'll tell you. So we've waited decades for at least half the series to come out in some official capacity rather than resorting to the VHSs we taped off the TV back in the day. Anyway, yeah, no, it's good news.
Better late than ever.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to be uploading an unboxing of that to our YouTube channel, is that right?
I hope so, yeah. It's already gone out on the Goodies Podcast Facebook page, so yes, keep your eyes peeled for that. Right. Not many limited edition sets of stuff get books and CDs along with the DVDs, so it's pretty cool.
Yes. I'm looking forward to dipping into it a bit.
Oh, good. I'll lend you some stuff.
Cool. Well, what have we got today? Here's a description, Jeff. See if you can guess what this sitcom is. It's about a man trapped on board a spaceship with, amongst other things, an anthropomorphic cat.
Right.
The ship's computer, whose name starts with an H, and a robot. And this man longs for a woman he once knew.
Oh, well, it sounds very Red Dwarf-in. Yeah. Is this the part where you blow me away?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
It's not Red Dwarf.
Oh, really?
It's called Final Space.
Final Space?
Final Space.
Okay.
And the episode we're going to look at today is imaginatively titled Chapter 2.
Okay. So what
Yeah.
what era or decade are we talking about here?
Or up to the minute.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. This is, unsurprisingly, episode 2 of season 1.
Right. And what's the most recent episode to come out? Episode 4 or something? Episode 5?
Oh, no, it's not that recent. Season 1 is concluded, and season 2 is on the way.
Okay, cool.
Shall I give you a description?
Please do, yeah.
So I've ripped this off from Wikipedia pretty much, because I couldn't do better than they did. Gary Goodspeed is a boisterous yet inept astronaut who, in the midst of working off the last few days of his 5-year sentence aboard the prison spacecraft Galaxy 1, encounters a mysterious planet-destroying alien. Soon he befriends the alien, whom he names Mooncake, and discovers that Mooncake is being pursued by the forces of a powerful telekinetic creature known as the Lord Commander. Together with the ship's computer Hue, that's abbreviation of HUE, an army of similar but unfalteringly loyal robots, and a growing crew of new shipmates, Gary and Mooncake embark on a quest to save the universe, all while trying to uncover the mystery of what Final Space really is.
Okay.
Do-do-do-do.
Ooh. Right. Well, it's good that they're being pursued because that adds tension and excitement.
There's plenty of tension and excitement in this.
Yeah.
It's there by the bucket load.
Oh, okay. No worries. So it's an action drama, you say?
Yes, action drama comedy.
Oh, cool. Alrighty.
I don't know what word you get if you throw all those things together. Drakshon Otomundi.
That's one for the listener to decide and tell us all about in the comments. So, yeah, are you going to a breakdown on the characters and stuff?
Oh, getting there.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
It was shown on the TBS network in the USA and Netflix internationally, which is where I've seen it. It's from the US, and like I said before, it's just had its first season in 2018.
Oh, yeah.
And season 2 is on the way. Famous stars.
Oh, I'm bracing myself. Right, here we go.
Well, you probably won't know the first one. We'll start with Olin Rogers, who is a comedian, actor, and writer. He started out doing stuff on YouTube, and he created the pilot for Final Space. He's one of the writers and producers, and he also voices the main character, Gary.
This is animated then, is it?
Yes, it's animated.
Oh, here we go. Okay, yep, right.
But who might you recognise? Well, David Tennant voices the evil Lord Commander.
Oh, of course.
David Tennant of Doctor Who fame and other.
Does he do it in a Scottish accent?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Fine.
In fact, you wouldn't recognise him, his voice, unless you were told. I don't think.
Right.
John DiMaggio.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He's featured before.
Futurama and Penguins of Madagascar fame, and every other cartoon.
Rico and Penguins of Madagascar, and Bender in Futurama. David Sachs is another one of the producers, and he was also a producer from Third Rock from the Sun, and The Simpsons.
Right, so good pedigree.
Mm-hmm. So I've watched season 1 on Netflix. We've established that you've never seen this before.
No.
So we're boldly going where no Jeff has ever been before.
Oh.
Cool.
All right, we'll be back.
Things have been great on my end. I made what I believe to be a potential new friend. Yes, he boarded the ship to kill me and take my little green ball friend, but Avocado is one great card player.
Any more cards, and I will shoot myself.
I'm gonna shoot you if you don't play cards.
I'll let you shoot me.
Well, then I'm gonna shoot myself.
What? Why?
Friggin' figure it out. Figure it out. And our newest member is this little guy. His name's Mooncake. Everyone loves him.
That little green snotball is a planet-destroying superweapon that's gonna get us killed.
You, sir, just stepped over the line. Mooncake has feelings, and you just peed all over him with your cat whiz. Yep, things have been going pretty great. Get back to me. No rush. It's just I haven't talked to a human lady person in like 5 years. Well, yours forever, Thunder Bandit.
And we're back.
Yep, that seemed to go very quickly. Is that like a 20-minute episode length or a...
Yeah, standard 22 minutes, something like that.
Okay, right.
Fairly rattled along.
It certainly does.
Let's break it down. As it says at the end of the recap for episode 1, buckle up those butt cheeks because things are about to get heavy. And they do get pretty heavy. I'd say this is probably the most violent episode we've had to date.
Okay.
What might have topped this maybe?
Dismemberment.
We had Vivian's head knocked off by a train in the young ones, and we had a unicorn
used up for
had his
body parts and
voice chip extracted from his unicorn. I don't know if there's are there any other examples?
There's bound to be.
There's bound to be. Anyway, I think this is probably the worst so far, but it's all cartoony. So anyway, we've got the standard opening to Final Space, which is Gary, well, at least in season 1, Gary drifting in space amidst this space debris, and you learn that there's 8 minutes of oxygen left, and then in episode 3 he'll have 7 minutes of oxygen left, and it's like a countdown to the end of the series. He asks Hugh, if you had 8 minutes of life left, what would you do? So that's the little conversation they have before we go into the kick-ass credit scene, which I love.
Right.
It's very action-packed and everything. What did you think of that?
I can't remember a single second of it, if I'm honest.
There's this bit. They're like
there's just stuff happening all over the place.
The bit in the Avengers movie where they have that. They all kind of stand together in a group facing the enemy, and you've got the camera kind of panning around them, and they're all like pulling heroic poses. It's a bit like a bit like that. You've got people firing guns and avocatos ripping the head off some enemy and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah, well, see, because at that point, you're figuring out who is who and what's what, but he rips what looks like another cat in half.
I thought it was just the head, but...
Oh, okay.
Rip something off.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get through the credit scene, and we see there's robots repairing damage to the ship, which was done in the previous episode, and there's Kevin's zipping around saying, holes, 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 nothing but holes. Did you get that joke?
Nope. And that's I thought, why is he doing that?
Nothing but holes. But holes. But holes.
Oh. That's, right, I see, okay.
I don't think that one's going into the best gags category.
Wow.
Anyway, It's there.
They needed to work on that a lot more, I think. Yeah.
Gary then records his. This is another regular feature. He records a video log.
Sounds about right.
For Quinn,
Yeah.
who's the lady that he hasn't seen for 5 years and he's kind of pining for. Anyway, that's its usual disastrous self. And he's telling her about his great potential new friend, Avocato, who he met when Avocato boarded the ship to try and kill him and steal Mooncake, which was in our recap.
Yeah.
So Gary has Avocato tied up to a chair and he's forcing him to play cards, which isn't going down very well. But he's desperate.
Because he's got to use his mouth to try and put his cards down.
Yeah, hands are tied up, so he's just spitting the cards onto the table. He's not very impressed. But Gary's desperate to play cards with someone because he's been hanging out by himself with these robots for 5 years. He's a little bit manic in this episode.
Oh.
It's like he's finally got the opportunity after 5 years to go out and do something and interact with other sentient, not sentient beings.
Yeah, conscious
beings. So
yeah,
so he's a bit manic. Anyway, then we get introduced to Mooncake, who's described by Avocato as a planet-destroying superweapon who's going to get us all killed. That's not good. Next we see Quinn, who is an Infinity Guard. She's the lady that Gary is pining for.
Right.
We see that she is contacted by another Infinity Guard agent called Tribor. He's the one with all the eyes. And he's telling her that... I
thought that was her sidekick / assistant or something.
Well, yes, you could put him in that category.
Okay, right.
He says that a ship has crashed and they need her help to find out what went wrong, obviously. Back to Gary. Mooncake gets scanned by a bounty hunter who takes off after the scan is successful to get reinforcements from the Lord Commander. Mm-hmm. So that's bad news. Avocato warns that we have to catch him before he can do that. And Gary, after the clasp of friendship, which is a hand-to-hand bond, forging trust and engaging trust mode, releases Avocato and they're off. And as I said before, Gary's pumped because he's got this new friend, and for the first time in 5 years, he's going to get off the ship that he's been imprisoned on. But Hugh says, I can't just let you go because although you're just almost at the end of your prison sentence, you're still a prisoner. So he implants something in Gary. It says, this will give you 5 hours to go and do what you want to do.
Right.
But if you're not back in the 5 hours, your brain is going to explode.
Yeah.
So there you go. The clock's ticking. We're ramping up the tension. They arrive at Terracon Prime, which is it's the kind of dingy space backwater you'd expect to find Han Solo hanging out in. They're not very fond of Homo sapiens.
The dodgy guy that they tried to get passports off, which I'm sure you're going to mention, papers. Yeah, he's very anti-primate, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
So after getting distracted by some street meat, they make their way to Clarence, who's the character Jeff's just talked about, who's a dealer in black market goods, and they've gone to him to get some papers for Gary. So he, being a primate, can fit in on this space station or whatever it is. And Clarence, to help Gary fit in, Clarence gives Gary the skin of a dead Hublot, which he pulls from a drawer. And
I hope it was the refrigerator drawer.
Yeah. I don't think it was. Clarence and Avocato are saying to Gary, put this skin on. And he picks it up and he says, it's a bit like a slippery pitter pocket. And then he puts it on. He steps through the mouth hole of this dead skin, puts it on, and he says, it's all right. It's kind of like a nice pair of warm, wet house slippers. Do you know what that feeling's like?
I know what it's like to have wet slippers.
Wet slippers?
Yeah.
Wet from your sweat?
They're not often warm.
Anyway, that's quite the picture. Tribor and Quinn arrive at the crash site and take some readings. It doesn't look right, needless to say. And back with Gary and Avocato, they catch up with the bounty hunter who scanned them, but they get split up and Gary falls over the ledge. And he screams, Avocato! He goes over the edge. Anyway, we discover...
Was he a bit uncoordinated because of the costume? Was he not even in it at that? No.
The skin of a dead Hublot might impede your...
It's going to be tricky to get
movement,
around.
Restrict your movement a bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
I would say. Anyway, we discover, staying with Avocato, that his son, Little Cato, is being held prisoner by the Lord Commander in cell 43.
Right.
So Avocato goes off to find his son to try and save him. But Gary, who falls onto this conveyor belt, and after getting scanned, he's recognised by the computer system as Melanie de Winter. And who was the
dead Hublot.
The dead Hublot, whose skin he's wearing. So he gets deposited into her apartment, and her family, including 2 children, rush to embrace the mother that they thought was dead.
Your mommy!
Yeah. And her husband comes over and says, "Melanie, that thing with your sister, it didn't mean anything. It was a big mistake." And he gives Gary a big slimy kiss or something like that. Gary says, "Oh my crap."
What mystifies me is he just sits there, and I know he's probably wanting to be polite, and he hasn't been around other beings an awful lot. But you think he'd just go, "Oh, well, this was nice. I just dropped in. See you later." But he just sits there for ages, making it more and more awkward.
What would you do?
You'd walk the hell out the front door, wouldn't you? You'd just go, "Right, I've escaped my hideous predicament I'm in. Hello, these people who I don't know. Catch us later."
I just figured he was so stunned after having fallen off this thing
And then sucked through a tube and put in an apartment.
Scanned, sucked through the tube, dumped in the apartment, then mobbed by this family. I thought that accounted for it, but you might be right. Maybe he should have just rushed for the door, because it's going to get worse.
Oh, yeah.
Avocato does find little Cato, but they're separated by a force field, and we find out there was a trap. That's no good. And he gets taken off to the Lord Commander. Gary, inside of Melanie's skin, is the subject of a debate between her children about who loved Mum more. And they start pulling on her, each on an arm on either side, and they pull so hard that they basically pull Melanie's skin apart, revealing Gary, and it's like, rips, the skin gets ripped apart, and
there's juice flying
juice
everywhere.
Just goes everywhere. And they just go, "Ah!" And he's freaking out. So the family just loses it, and Gary bolts for the door, which is maybe what he should have done in the first place.
He absolutely should have done that in the first place.
Yes. Outside, Gary sees Avocato getting hauled off to the Lord Commander, and he's reminded of the clasp of friendship.
Yeah.
And he's determined to save Avocato, even though he's only got 2 hours left before his brain is going to be turned to mush.
Yeah.
At this point...
why is he there at all? They're there to stop this bounty hunter person relaying the fact that Moon
they're there to try and save Mooncake and themselves.
Yeah. But this guy's already dead at this point. The person they were going, the bounty hunter. The
bounty hunter's already passed the information on to the Lord Commander, and he's set up this trap for them.
But have we not got to this bit yet? So I'm sorry if I've messed this around. But as Gary fell over the precipice, Avocato shot the bounty hunter dude that they'd gone there to stop, yes?
But he was captured.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. Shortly afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Correctamundo.
I get you.
But I did want to point out that right now in the story, Gary doesn't know about little Cato having been
absolutely
imprisoned or anything like that, so he doesn't know why Avocato is doing what he's doing. Back on Earth, Quinn and Tribor go to a meeting of the Imperial Guard leadership, and she requests that all those ships be grounded until the problem is resolved. But they refused. And she's miffed, calls them all idiots, and storms out. So it appears that her time in the Infinity Guards is coming to a close, Jeff.
Right. Well, they look like a hapless bunch of worms anyway, and, she doesn't need to take their guff.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, she's not going to stand for that. Next, this is something mysterious. Someone in a helmet and cape boards the Galaxy 1. In fact, I put boarded the Galaxy 1, but they pretty much materialised inside of Galaxy 1.
Oh.
And they start dismantling the robot guards and actually take over control of the ship from here.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Back with the Lord Commander, he's asking Avocato why he hasn't brought back Mooncake, because that was his mission.
Yeah.
And he reminds him that he's got little Cato in the palm of his hand. But Gary rocks up to interrupt this discussion, but he distracted the Lord Commander by basically having the Lord Commander start tearing him apart with his powers of telekinesis. Avocato takes advantage of this to take off. So he leaves the room, but he hears Gary calling out in pain, and Gary's reminding him in screams of the clasp of friendship.
Yeah.
And the Lord Commander says, Avocado's not Gary's friend. He betrayed you just a minute ago.
Which he did.
Yeah. But Avocado says he didn't have a choice. He's trying to save his son. So it's all very dramatic. And then Gary gets his arm ripped off.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not so much the arm being ripped off that's the good bit. It's what happens to the arm for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is the good bit.
The arm's about to steal the show for the next 5 minutes.
Totally.
Okay, so they run. They bolt for it, right? They run down this flight of stairs, and then they're kind of on a walkway to this, what do you call it?
Dock?
This dock.
Is that the
Perfect.
right?
Exactly.
Oh, okay,
That's
right.
exactly the word I was looking for. They're running for this dock, trying to find a ship that can...
No, I should point out, not a doctor.
No,
not going to see the dock, but going to a
no,
ship.
that would be a good idea,
Yeah,
actually.
well, that's what I thought, but,
No, the spaceship dock. So they're trying to find a way to escape. Then Avocado stops and says he can't leave his son. Now Gary slaps him with the hand on the arm which got ripped off. And Avocado meows
with his
in
remaining
surprise.
arm.
Yeah. Avocado goes,
wielding his other arm as a weapon. Yeah, no, it was cool when Avocado went, meow.
Yeah, I like that. And Gary says, "Oh, we're going all right and fast before my brain explodes."
Yeah.
Just dropping that casually into the discussion. So they're chased by this army of robots, and they jump for the catwalk below.
Right.
And they're falling for ages. They fall past Clarence's shop, and we see them in the reflection of his goggles, which is just one of the little cool bits of animation that is in this show. Did I even mention that this is animated?
Yeah.
It's animated, in case you're worrying that someone actually had their arm ripped off.
Yeah.
So they...
It saves on practical effects as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey.
Now, what stops their fall at this point, Jeff?
Well, in a supreme coincidence, they fall onto the windscreen of a vehicle that just happens to be driven by the dad and two kids from the family, the skin he was in and all that sort of stuff. And he thinks he's been bailed out at this point, and he's going, "Oh, look, it's me, it's your mum." And then they totally freak out, put on the windscreen wipers, sending them plummeting back down the hole.
He says, "David, kids, it's me, your mother." And they put the windscreen wipers and knock him off. But the arm gets stuck on the wiper. So then they
poor Gary, he's like, "I lost my arm back there."
Yeah, he's not concerned that he's about to fall to his death or get shot by these laser guns that are about to start firing below. He's concerned about his arm. But anyway, they manage to navigate their way through this very tiny hole at the bottom of this thing they're falling through.
It's also Star Warsy, but yeah.
It is very Star Wars-ish. They so they fall through this hole and they fall into space, and Avocado, he's got like a force shield, force bubble.
Yep.
On his suit, so that's going to keep them alive for a little while. So they fail to rescue little Kato. Our Quinn takes off to find out what's going on. That takes off from the Imperial Guard base. And I'm saying our Quinn because the person in the mask who's taken over the Galaxy 1 takes off their helmet, and it's Quinn. Well, a different Quinn.
No.
Presumably a future version.
That's the cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger?
It's not literally the cliffhanger, but this is the big mystery they introduce at the end of the episode to keep you tuned into the next episode.
Yes, very good point. We know she's a future version because this one knows Kevin and Mooncake, and even says something about Mooncake getting Gary killed.
Oh, okay.
So there's a bit of a
That's
hook
what
there.
Avocado said.
Yeah, and she installs something in Kevin, like opens up a hatch on the back of him, puts it in there. Don't know what that is. That's going to be obviously uncovered in the future. And she takes off, restoring control of the ship to Hugh, who is then able to pick Gary and Avocado up. We discover that the 5-hour thing is not real, much to Gary's disgust. Mm-hmm. And Mooncake comes up with the idea of replacing Gary's arm with a robot's arm. Avocado agrees to do the surgery, and while he's doing it, they have a deep conversation about friendship and agree together that they're going to get little Kato, protect Mooncake, and Gary throws in, and murder that guy's face off for good measure. Yeah. And then they have a final, a real clasp of friendship, and the episode ends.
Right. There you go.
Action-packed.
Yeah.
Anything else to say before we launch into the next section?
But was it comedy-packed?
Was it comedy-packed?
Who knows? Okay, but I'll let you launch into some stuff, because I've got very few notes.
Very few notes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought the episode was hilarious, but balanced brilliantly with the dramatic and the sci-fi elements as well.
Right.
And I think we've previously had one episode we've looked at where they balanced the dramatic and the comedy, which was the Count Arthur episode, which dealt with a, funeral?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's a bit like that. It takes us on the epic story of a friendship being forged despite deception and through adversity. Gary trusts Avocato on the misplaced basis of the initial clasp of friendship, but it turns out alright. So I really like the little story arc in this episode where it goes from them being enemies, although they're playing cards under duress at the start, through to real friendship and a shared mission at the end, despite all the things that happen in the middle, where we see the Avocado's basically been lying to Gary and all this sort of stuff in the middle. The second is the scene where his arm gets ripped off, which is dramatic, terrifying, and very funny as well.
Yeah.
Gary is calling out to Avocato for help, and he does. So you think, it's going to be all right now. That's fine. But then his arm comes off, and there's blood spurting out. He's screaming. He says, "You idiot! You just ripped off my arm! What the freak?" And then he's in shock, but so he's doing something stupid. He's complaining about the amount of stairs they have to climb down as they're making their getaway while he's carrying his arm. And it's a similar kind of thing when he's complaining about having left his arm behind, but he's about to fall to his death. So
that's right.
In shock, he's not being entirely rational about the situation. And then, of course, they double down on the gag with the Hublot family when they fall onto the car. Shall I run through some gags?
Yeah.
I know you don't have a long list of gags, but there's the gag at the card table where Avocato threatens to shoot himself if Gary makes him play any more cards. And Gary says, "I'll shoot you if you don't play cards." And Avocato says, "I'll let you shoot me."
Yeah.
Which is kind of the point he's trying to make. And Gary's like exasperated by this, and despite him, he just says something completely ridiculous. He says, "Really? Well, then I'm going to shoot myself."
Yeah.
And Avocato goes, "What? Why? Friggin' figure it out."
Yeah.
Like he's completely at a loss as to why he's said this ridiculous thing.
Yep.
Mm.
Well, maybe it's a long shot, but since Avocato's mission is to, off him and kill him or take him back to the Lord Commander or whatever, he figures if he kills himself, then Avocato will be annoyed because it robbed him of the... I don't know.
I know. Avocato's a little bit down, isn't he? Because he's failed the mission for the Lord Commander, and he's... Little Cardo's going to be in the clutches of...
to some horrible thing.
Who knows what's going to become of him.
Yeah.
Yes, he's not happy. The next one was Avocato explaining how they're going to be taken to the dark zone and tortured by slugs. And Gary's making this series of really funny reactions to it. Then at the end of this explanation, he says, "Sounds like I got these buttery buns into a hot vice."
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
No, I mean, I can appreciate if you love it. I just think, but where's the actual humour in that? Was it in the... No, I mean, is it in the line, or is it in the delivery of the voice factor, or is it in the facial expression of the cartoon or something?
I think it's he calls his bottom buttery buns. And there's the image of a buttery buns being put into a hot vice and basically melting.
So it's a bakery gag. It's a bakery gag in the workshop.
It is. It's the best of bakery gags.
Oh, okay.
That's it exactly, Jeff.
Yeah, fair enough.
Tribor, he's hilarious and steals every scene that he's in with his stupid rhetorical questions. Quinn, this is the crash site. Quinn says, "This crash doesn't make any sense." And Tribor says, "Doesn't make any sense. I wish there was sense. Where did all the sense go?"
Right. I'm going to need you to explain all these to me because, it seems like,
Oh no,
I'm very open to all these new things, and I like putting risky sitcoms in. But like every example you've listed so far, they're all the reasons you really like it, and all the jokes you really like, and they're all the moments where I just thought, this is an example of why this is terrible. And so like it's just the examples that you're saying, yeah, this is great. And I'm just going, there's literally nothing funny about that whatsoever. But yeah. So keep it rolling and we'll see if we can match this up even more perfectly.
You'll be glad to know I've only got a couple more.
Oh, okay.
They get back to the ship and Gary says to get this thing out of his head that's going to explode in the near future.
Yeah.
And Hugh says that he never actually put this implant in his head.
Mm.
And Gary's just indignant. He says, because Hugh says, that's, it was just a joke.
A joke.
And Gary says, a joke?
Yeah.
It's the first joke you've made in 5 years. And that was it.
Yeah. But I think the real, the killer line in that one is that Hugh responds by saying, well, it's all about timing.
Yeah.
So it's the timing of the joke.
And the last one was the scene as they're running through the dock.
Yeah.
Looking for a spaceship so they can make their getaway. They're running for this spaceship, which up and leaves and flies out of the dock. And they're like, oh no! And then they see another one, which is like a smaller, crappier spaceship docked behind the one that had just flown off. And then they're like, oh, okay, we'll run for that one. And then that one takes off and just continues going until there's a box. There's just a box left on the dock.
A space-powered
and they go,
box?
what is this? And this, the box falls apart. This little ball thing is in there, which sprouts a propeller, and that goes. And
like
then,
Jetson style or something.
Jetson style. And then, next thing you know, they're in the shootout, which requires them to jump for the railing underneath. Anyway.
And plummet to their peril.
Plummet to their peril, exactly.
Oh.
Well, I've come to the list of my gags.
Well, I think you're picking up on my vibe, man.
Yeah.
So what I've got under the list, which I've called OK, is Gary dressed as an alien in the apartment, obviously. But then I thought, oh, that's brilliant. But then instantly thought, why doesn't he get out of there? And then, as you see in every current sitcom, there's something along the lines of awkward. Well, yes, it's awkward. The brilliant slapping Avocato with his dismembered hand is just fantastic. And all the things involved with the dismembered arm is really, really cool. So that was good. So where are we at now? So have you got some more comments, or should I launch into it?
I've come to the end of my gags.
Yeah, okay, cool.
You're going to tell us some more reasons why you hate it.
Well, it's it's a strange thing, isn't it? So you'd put on something like The Good Place or Penguins of Madagascar, and immediately I'm going, yes,
You're clicking with it.
This is the stuff. But I think maybe it's just a thing I have with modern shows, is that all these writers and things are just going, look how smart we are, look how Joss Whedon had some good dialogue 15 years ago, and now it's been so rehashed through so many writers and so many things that now we're getting the dregs of the dregs of the dregs, and this is what passes for dialogue and character development these days.
Ooh.
And so I'm going, look, I don't have any sense of any of these characters at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Who are they? What do they want? What are their character traits? So you can't take... It tries to do drama and be serious, but there's no seriousness to any of the characters. And so you might say, okay, well, Avocato is a bit of a heavyweight character and he's got his mission and he's doing his thing. He's a bit of a cipher, really. It's just, here's this guy and he's got to do his thing. And then as soon as he gets an opportunity, this Gary fella, who he's only been locked up by and known for a few hours, he's going to risk saving his son for this absolute idiot who he's got no connection with whatsoever. So that was complete rubbish. But so I go, Gary, all his dialogue is the delivery. It's over the top, and he's like, "I'm gonna talk like this. I'm gonna do this." And so, if you know what I mean, it's like the lines could be presented by an accomplished actor with comedic skills who might be able to do this, but the lines are just all over the place. And then through that, you don't get any idea of what this character is like. So if the idea is I'm rooting for this guy and I want him to succeed and do all that, there's not one thing I go, I would like to spend more time with that person whatsoever. So I still know nothing about Gary.
Yep.
He's just a completely delusional, none of those characters would want to spend any time.
He's about to finish a 5-year jail sentence aboard a spaceship where he didn't have any human contact, and the first thing he's going to do when he's set free is go and help this guy try and get his son. So
I guess so, but I think at that point he'd do anything. So if you said, can you help me take a load of, could you help me drive me to the airport, or could you help me move house, or I need a bunch of stuff taken to the tip, he'd probably be happy to join you on that mission as well. I don't know. So
and he's still persisting. In 5 years he's been recording these stupid messages for
that's right.
For this woman, and he's persistent in that, so I don't know.
I guess so.
At the start of the series,
Yeah, I think you have to watch.
I think you're seeing him at his worst here.
Yeah.
But as things progress on,
Mm.
you see more of the good attributes to him.
Oh, yeah.
He becomes more likable.
Well, even if we set that aside, it's just the delivery of the dialogue. I know the whole point is it's meant to be a wacky sitcom, but it's the whole... I think it's... My interpretation of it is just, this is meant to be wackiness, and let's see how wacky he can be. And it's a poor substitute for actual character building. It's like... I don't even know how to put it into words, because I'm having to improvise here. Yeah, so I know it's all kooky, and look how wacky he is. But it's just hard to get a handle on him. And Quinn's assistant, who I'm calling Quinn's assistant... Tribor is... utterly, it's worse than having no character. It's utterly useless. It completely detracts from it. Like, there's nothing he adds to anything whatsoever. And I know you were saying the lines are funny. No, but the lines aren't even remotely funny. So if I could just have a conversation with another human being and, do I know what you're talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Should I worry about this? Like, in real life, and I know it's a cartoon and everything, there's characters in sitcoms who in real life you'd love to hang out with. And then there's these characters who I think it's, to repeat myself, they're trying to do wacky and kooky and all that, and that's no substitute for having actual characters. You know what I mean? So let's give this guy 6 eyes and have him say stupid things. Well, it adds nothing to the plot, nothing to the likability. It adds nothing to anything. I don't know, man. I think what this show has done actually is, instead of me going, it's all right, but it's not quite there, I think it's actually pushed all my buttons of what everything a sitcom shouldn't be. Yeah, so how can I be so accepting of Penguins of Madagascar and not so accepting of
I don't know.
these?
What's the difference?
And I think it's, the writing and the delivery and just the whole setup.
You're saying you feel
I don't know. I haven't analysed it or anything.
Does this feel more? This feels forced to you.
It feels utterly, completely forced, and just probably the indulgence of the our friend, the former YouTuber dude. But anyway,
that's right.
I'll just do some more.
We're working on instincts here.
I feel like I'm being very mean, but at the same time I'm thinking,
well, you've got to give your honest impressions of it.
Fair enough, but yes, I think there's a lot of attempted humour in the form of how crazy and off the wall can we be.
Oh, well. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get some feedback on this from people who have watched it.
Yeah, but no, hit me with the rest of your cool stuff.
Oh, well, really, it's just all that's left to do is sum up my point of view, but
yeah. No, I've totally gone off on one here.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think it's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
You think it's absolutely not hilarious, and that's the way it goes sometimes.
Oh, it totally is. No, that's happened to us before. Not very often, and it all comes down to personal humour and stuff. But yeah.
Oh, well, it's a miss.
Yeah.
What do you know?
No.
Well, I don't have anything else. I guess we could just sign off.
I suppose so. I just feel terrible now.
Why? Yeah, I've got to go back to work.
Yeah, I know. It's always a bummer when you get it knocked back, especially when you think it's hilarious and stuff.
No, I don't mind. Oh, well.
It just puts a downer on the rest of the day.
Oh, that's the way it goes.
Oh.
Well, thanks, Jeff, and thanks for sitting through that and giving your honest opinion.
No worries.
And we'll see the fine listeners next month for Halloween episodes.
Yes. I still haven't selected mine, so
no way. And yours is next, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'll have to sort something out. All right, well, I shall bid my guilt-ridden, tearful farewell and say no worries, thanks, Steve, and hope I'm in a better zone next week.
Okay, see ya.
Bye.
Join us next time on Sitcom Showdown when we'll be putting another 5-star episode under the microscope. And in the meantime, you can contact us with feedback on Facebook, Twitter @Sitcom Showdown, or by email sitcomshowdown@gmail.com.